My name is Ryan Hodgkinson. I'm the owner of Twist Pilates in the DuPont neighborhood of Washington, D.C. And today we're going to go over some self-myofascial release using a foam roller. So that being said, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to grab my foam roller right here, and I'm going to lay it parallel to my mat. So from there, I'm going to walk forward. I'm going to put my tailbone right at the edge of the foam roller. And I'm going to walk my hands back behind me so I can lay down with both my head and my tailbone resting on the roller. I'm going to start. My feet are flat to the ground, hip distance apart, and we're going to start with just loosening up the scapula, your shoulder blades in the back of your body. So I want you to reach your hands up to the ceiling, and then we're going to reach up through those fingertips so your shoulders move into what's called protraction and move away from the center of your body. And then you're going to draw the shoulders back down into retraction so they wrap around the foam roller. And we're going to do this 10 times, reaching up and drawing back down. From here, I'm going to move my arms into a goal pose position, so my elbows are at 90 degrees. I want to still be able to see my hands and my peripheral vision from this position. Then I'm going to rotate my palms down towards the ground so my fingertips point towards my feet, and then I'm going to rotate them back to their start position. I'm going to again go for 10 repetitions. Working that internal and external rotation of the shoulder. And after 10, I'm going to alternate arms. So I'm going to take my right arm back, and then I'm just going to switch back and forth. From here, I'm going to lay my hands down to my sides, palms down, and I'm going to go into what are called snow angels to work on the upward rotation of my scapula. So as my hands slide out to the sides along the ground, I'm going to take them into a T. When they reach that T, I'm going to rotate my palms up to the ceiling, slide the back of my hands towards the ceiling as high as I can while keeping my arms straight and hands on the ground. Then I'm going to rotate back down, turn my palms to the ground, and down my hips. And again, I'm going to go for 10 of these. And one more. I'm going to keep my left hand down my side. I'm going to slide my right hand out and up. And then I'm just going to alternate my arms again. Laying my palms down to my sides, I'm going to work on my SI joint in the back of my hips. So I'm going to start with what's called marching. Press your palms firmly into the ground, and then you're going to inhale, pick your right leg up into tabletop, and exhale, lower it down with control. Make sure your abdominals are drawn deep into your back to stabilize your core muscles as you alternate legs, trying to keep that roller as stable as possible. Now I'm going to up the challenge a little bit. You can either keep marching your legs one at a time, or we're going to pick the right leg up into the tabletop position, and then I'm going to pick my left leg up to meet it. Keeping my abs tight so the roller is stable, I'm going to lower my right big toe down to the mat and pull it back up, and then I'm going to switch. And there's 10. I'm going to lower my right foot all the way down, followed by my left foot. And then I'm just going to place my right elbow down. I'm going to carefully roll off the side of my roller. I'm going to start rolling my body, starting from the ground up. So I'm going to take my roller, I'm going to lay it perpendicular to my mat. And we're going to start by rolling out the back of your lower leg, your gastrocnemius, the meaty part of your calf right here, that leads down, and the soleus, the muscle directly underneath it. These are muscles that plantar flex your feet. So I'm going to start with the roller underneath my gastrocnemius, place my hands back behind me, and lift my hips, and I'm going to draw my hips back so I go just above the ankle and just below the knee. Now, if you want to make this a little more intense, you can cross one ankle over the other. Rolling doesn't have to be terribly painful. We do want to feel that we're getting into that muscle. So I'm going to roll 10 times. And one more. Let my hips come down. I'm going to switch legs. Again, rolling just below the knee and just above the ankle. Letting my hips come down, I'm going to place both of my legs back onto the roller. I'm going to lift my hips. I'm going to start to rock my feet from side to side, so I can roll around the muscle a little bit more. And you can even go back and forth if you like. Or if you have one spot that feels particularly tight, just stay there and roll back and forth for 10. And then let your hips come down. Now we're going to work on rolling out the sides of your lower leg, your peroneal muscles, the muscles that pronate your feet and evert the foot. So, coming down onto your side, give me a couple different options here. You take the side of your leg onto the roller, your top leg can cross above the roller, and you can lift your hips. You're just going to roll, again, let me adjust here, from just below the knee to just above the ankle. Now, again, if you want to make this a little more intense, you're just going to take your legs, stack them on top of one another, and roll back and forth. Or keep one foot down. Again, you can rock from side to side a little bit, getting all around that peroneal. Moving back and forth if you like, or just sticking to one area that feels a little tight. Letting the hips come down, we're going to go around to the other side. Again, placing my bottom leg on the roller, my top leg can cross over the roller. Lift your hips, you roll back and forth, or we can stack the legs. Rock side to side. So not only are you rolling along the length of the muscle, but I'm rolling across it as well. And letting my hips come down. Now I'm going to roll out the front part of my lower leg, my tibialis anterior, the muscles that are primarily involved in dorsiflexion, pulling your toes up towards your head. So, again, with my roller perpendicular to my mat, I'm going to kneel on the roller, so my knees are just past the roller, my hands are on the ground, my back is flat, and I'm going to draw my knees towards my chest, rolling to my ankles, and then again, just below the knee. And one more. Letting my knees come down. I'm now going to roll out my hamstrings, the back of my thighs. So, to roll out the back of my thighs, again, I'm going to take the roller. This time I'm going to place it underneath the meaty part of my thighs. I'm going to lift my hips up off the ground. And I'm going to roll along the back of my thighs, just above the knees, just below the glutes. Again, to make this a little more intense, just cross one leg over the other, or keep both feet down. Then I'm going to start rocking from side to side. I'm going to go back and forth. You can either stay in one spot or rock back and forth. We want to make sure we're getting not only the bicep femoris, but also the semitendinosus and semimembranosus, the other muscles of the hamstring. I always get tongue-tied on those muscles. And we'll switch legs. And then again, rocking from side to side, moving maybe up and down the hamstring. And then coming down. We're now going to switch to the front of your thighs, your quadriceps. So for the quadriceps, I'm going to place the roller right underneath my thighs, forearms down on the ground. And then I'm just going to roll back and forth. Again, you can make it a little more intense by crossing one foot over the other, so I'm just rolling across one thigh. Or keep both feet down, both thighs down if this is too uncomfortable. Make sure you're rolling just above the knee and then just below the hip. I'm going to switch legs here. And then placing both thighs on the roller, separating my feet about hip distance apart. I'm going to bend my knees a little bit. I'm just going to rock my feet from side to side as I roll back and forth along the roller. So not only am I rolling out my rectus femoris, the major muscle of the quadricep, but also getting into those vastus muscles. And then we're going to come down. Now I'm going to roll out the side of my thigh. My TFL muscle is primarily involved in hip abduction and is a secondary hip flexor, and also the IT band that connects from the tibia all the way up to your ilium. So I'm going to just give you a couple of different options here. You can place your right hip on the roller, right leg straight. Now you can have your left leg cross in front of your right leg below the roller to give you a little support, and you're going to roll back and forth just above the knee, just below the hip. Going back and forth. Now again, to make it a little more intense, just stack your legs, But again, if this is uncomfortable, keep one foot down. And then I'm going to come up to right around my TFL here, just below my hip, and I'm going to rock back and forth. And then coming down off the roller, I'm going to switch sides. Again, placing my left hip on the roller, forearm down, my right leg can be down on the ground below the roller in front of my left leg to give me a little support, or I can stack the legs to make it a little more intense. Again, I'm only making this tense that I feel a little discomfort in the muscle. I'm not going for pain. The more you do this, the less painful it becomes. It actually starts to become more enjoyable. And there's about 10. So again, I'm going to come up to my TFL just below my hip, and I'm just going to rock my hips from side to side a little bit. And then coming down off the roller, I want to roll out my inner thigh, my adductor muscles. So I'm going to lay my roller parallel to my mat, just to the side of my mat. From here, I'm going to take my left leg, I'm going to bend it up to 90 degrees and place the inside of my left thigh on the roller. Forearms come down to the ground. I'm going to come up into a plank on my right foot. I'm just going to roll from side to side along the length of my inner thigh, hitting all those adductors. And then again, I'm going to rock my foot up and down a few times. Maybe move it around. Find those points that are a little bit tighter in those adductors. And then we're going to go around to the other side. So again, right knee bent to about 90 degrees. Forearms on the ground. My left foot's up, so I'm going to plank. And then I'm rocking from side to side along the length of my inner thigh. And then I'm going to move my foot up and down a little bit so I can roll across the muscle. Again, moving back and forth, finding those tight points in my adductors. And then coming down off the roller, we're going to go into the glutes. So for the glutes, again, turn your roller perpendicular to your mat. And then we're going to carefully sit down onto the roller with your hands back behind you. And I'm going to cross my left ankle over my right knee into a figure 4 stretch. From there, I'm going to lean into my left hip, and I'm going to roll back and forth along the glute. And then I'm going to rock from side to side. And switch legs. Leaning into my right hip. And again, just rolling back and forth along the length of the glute. And then rocking from side to side. Taking my leg down. Now I'm going to start working on my scapula again. I'm going to roll out the side of my shoulder blade on my left side. So keeping my roller perpendicular to the mat, I'm going to lay down onto my side. I'm going to bend my knees into my chest and place the roller right underneath my left armpit. I place my hands behind my head. Now my fingers are unlaced. I don't want to be pulling my head forward, but I want my head aligned with my shoulders. And I'm just going to roll back and forth along the length of the scapula. So it's really only a couple inches here. I'm not going down into my ribs. I'm stopping right at the bottom of that scapula. And one more. And then I'm going to rock my body, my upper body, back and forth a few times. And then coming up, I'm going to go around to the other side. Again, hands behind your head, knees tucked to your chest, and just roll along the length of the scapula. And then I'm going to rock back and forth. And coming up, now I'm going to roll out the back of my shoulder blades. So, taking my roller, I'm going to start feet flat to the ground. Put your forearms onto the roller. Scoot your hips forward a little bit. Place your hands behind your head and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Now from here, I'm going to roll. I'm going to adjust your feet. Roll to the top of my shoulder blades, and then just to the bottom of my shoulder blades. I'm not getting down into the ribs. Keeping right on that scapula. And from here, I'm going to rotate my upper body a little bit so my right shoulder blade comes off of the roller, and I'm going to roll across the back of my left shoulder blade. And then I'm going to switch sides. It's not a very big lift, just enough that my left scapula is off the roller. And then come back to center. I'm going to just rock from side to side a few times. And then I'm going to give myself a little bit of a thoracic spine extension stretch. So, coming about the middle of my shoulder blades, I'm going to slowly lower my pelvis down to the ground. I'm going to let my elbows drop wide and my head drop back into my hands. So I wrap my ribs around the roller, my shoulder blades. Get a nice stretch here. Draw my elbows together to support my head as I come up. Forearms on the roller, push off. The last thing we're going to roll is the back of your neck. So, to roll out the back of the neck, I want you to take your roller and you're going to place it right where your skull and the neck meet from here. Knees again, bent, feet flat on the ground, hands just down to your sides. I'm going to start just gently nodding my head yes. And I'm going to shake my head no. And maybe a little circles with my head. And the other direction. All right, and then coming center, we're going to come up. And that is my full body foam rolling routine that I like to do. Foam rolling is most effective if you can get it in about 3 times a week. Now you don't need to roll out your entire body. If you have a muscle that's particularly tight, you can just focus on that one muscle. It's best to do foam rolling at the start of your workout, and then maybe follow up with some dynamic stretching, going through your exercise, and ending with some static stretching. But I hope you enjoyed this foam roller workout that I put together, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.